I could watch it do that forever. So this is the Sump, the 15.68 gallon Biocube 29 Sump. I spent the last couple days letting this tank cycle and trying to establish the correct circulation I needed in the refugium and everything else to ensure that it operates the way I want it to for a long time. This Chaeto ball I threw in there yesterday to start seeing how it really behaved. I was using the filter pads for a while to try to get it dialed in. Had all kinds of crazy contraptions in there trying to get it to do that. In the previous video I had a piece of acrylic that I had molded in there to try to divert some of it, but and a dam off the overflow from chamber 1. Since then I have removed all that off there, so it's just a straight overflow now. Over on this side I got this piece. It's a piece I bent. It's the mate to the overflow, and what it does is it diverts that flow back down and it gets a spiral going. You see that chunk of silicone in there. Yeah, but the Chaeto has been dancing now without hitting the point of no return for probably about 18 hours or so. The zip ties are on there to induce a neutral buoyancy. If you turned everything off, I believe it floats at about right here. So, and this is the point of no return. Anything that goes past that gets sucked in. So I've got this, mesh, plastic mesh stuff. I buy it in a 5-pack. I use it all the time. It's funny, I've gone through a couple packs of those, but I started looking around yesterday, and there's only like 3 places I actually use that material. So it's kind of funny. It's more of a fab, using for fabrication, mock-up, stuff like that, but every once in a while it does end up in the final product. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and go through it. Right now, I have that DCT 4000 down there. I do love that thing. This pump is really awesome. But without any head pressure, it was way too much flow. I think it's like 761 gallons per hour. Basically with no head, and that's essentially what I have in this configuration right now. So here's what I've done. I needed to reduce that flow and reduce the pressure without tripping that thing. So you couldn't just put a ball valve here and close it because it creates too much head pressure, throws an error. So what I did is threw a T in here, 1/2 inch, and it's just dumping back into the return chamber. So I've created a bleed off for some of that pressure. This is roughly the flow I'm actually looking for in the finished product. So it's coming in here, going through my filter pad. I did have to throw a couple egg crates in there to elevate it to get levels working right and everything. This is going pretty quiet at the moment. Then into here, put a heater in there. I've started cycling this tank. I'm gonna cycle it on its own. So heater, and then the marine pure balls. That's the configuration I'm going to go with. My sump's actually going to sit directly on top of that, or not sump, sorry, my skimmer will sit directly above that, so that'll be a very, very low flow area of the tank. My hope is, get nitrogen gas out of that. Then the refugium, which we've already kind of talked about for a few minutes. Again, that Chaeto's just dancing in there the way I'm hoping it would. This light's temporary. I just pulled this off a little tank to give that Chaeto some life and start getting some photosynthesis going in the tank. I'm also using a couple different products to cycle it, better or worse. I've always used Stability. This stuff has cycled tanks for me in as little as 3 days. If everything's right, as little as 3 days to cycle a tank. That's what happened with this one. This tank cycled in like 4 days. So using Stability, but also Seachum, love Seachum, and this Aqua Vitro stuff. My local fish store just started carrying it, and it's a bacteria as well, so I've been using a little bit of this as well. But just trying to cycle the tank before I try adding it to my system. But alright, moving on from the refugium, like I said, I've got the point of no return here and the deflector to push it back down. Into the bubble chambers, got my all favorite filter pad in there, and then bubble gates. Now I did have to modify this a little bit, and the plans I put up publicly have been modified to reflect this as well. I had a final wall here and a ramp, which you can see in the videos and stuff. I've removed all that It was creating too much disturbance up in here in the return chamber. It was just too much. So took out that piece and broke this piece down about halfway. You know, I hate that. I did a lot of designing for this thing, but the reality sometimes of hydraulics beats your design, and this is where the experience. I had no experience building any of these, so I didn't really know what to expect. But yeah, I did end up taking that out, and in addition, I put a piece of my favorite blue material, this filter material, up here, because there's so much water moving through here that it was creating a vortex and pulling in a bubble every once in a while, and I'm going for a bubble-free existence here. Didn't happen in the 3D model. I built this so that I could check all my dimensions long before I ever had any of my glass cut. I should have flex sealed this thing and ran water through it. Into the back, it's just like I said earlier, I've got the pump with the bleed off. When my parts are coming in today for the auto top off, which I'm going to mount right here, a bunch of sensors in a tube, run into an auto top off box. But this is kind of how I'm hoping it'll operate under my tank. Quiet, behaving appropriately. It all kind of worked out, so I'm gonna let it cycle for another couple days down here. I'm still waiting on parts, and I still haven't drilled out my Biocube or anything, so it's just gonna chill here for a little bit. No leaks. I made lots of water messes throughout the course of messing with this thing, but it does not leak. So I'm really proud of that. That was really cool. First time building one of these. If I had to do it over again, I wouldn't have included those. That last bubble gate. And when I was constructing the outside, I would have been a little bit more attention orientated, detail orientated about the way I put the outside together. Because if I had, I wouldn't have been stressing for a couple days that this wasn't going to hold. But it turns out, yeah, glass and acrylic is an incredibly tight seal. So that's what we got going on with the Sump. It's just chilling here in my game room, and I'm actually gonna walk in here and show you the current state of my tank. Looking pretty good. The only bad thing that's going on right now is I'm losing button polyps off this clamshell. So, but everybody else is killing it. Little clowns coming up to say hi. Those guys are finally starting to expand and flood out onto the rest of that piece. Got the candy cane corals that are just about to, at night they have the green tint. A lot of the corals in my tank are rehabilitated corals from other places where they weren't doing so hot. Both of these sets of candy canes are an example of that. When I got them, they were at the bottom of a guy's tank, face down, just dying. That was probably 6 months ago, looking pretty good. These guys, the radioactive dragons, they were almost completely clear. The tank that they were in had a metal halide bulb that had no UV filter on them, and they were almost completely dead. That was about 2.5 months ago. Focus. And now they're just popping off babies all the time. Some of my zoanthids, mushroom, my rehabilitated Duncan Coral, got that one for Petco. It spent 3 months at the bottom of their tank face down. They didn't even know they had it. They thought it was just a frag plug. And then they pulled it up, put it on their display, and I got it for like half price. But it's been growing so awesome. First off, it's huge, but it also has a baby. It's sprouted another head, so that's pretty cool. I dig that. My original Duncan Coral, got it from Petco about 2 or 3 years ago. For the longest time, it had just the one head. And over the last 6 months since I've been taking this tank really seriously, it's really bloomed out, and it's got 4 heads now, and I think there's another pair growing on the back. Got these from a guy locally. I'm looking at the screen now, and the camera's not doing their color justice. They're just incredible. These guys are a rehabilitated one as well. If you look, this side of it's really green, and this side, as you get down to the bottom, is almost brown or beige. Same thing, same metal halide as those guys were under. Got them. They're slowly all starting to get their color back. That one's got a lot of color to it. So really proud of those guys. Frog Spawn I got from a guy locally. Bird's Nest got from the same guy. But yeah, it's looking pretty cool. This tank's doing awesome, and I can only expect it to do better once I get the sump on it. One of the thing I really like is the light. I got one of those $100, 165 watt Chinese setups, and it's just incredible. So, highly recommend that. But yeah, the tank's doing pretty good. Sump's doing pretty awesome. I will do an update on the sump once I get it all installed. And I'm actually going to do a video on this Biocube in the next couple days that just explains how I've got this thing all set up. It's working pretty awesome. So, but definitely looking forward to an upgrade. Alright, so that's it for me. Thanks for watching.